Arizona's laws on abortion have remained murky since the U.S. Supreme Court struck down Roe v. Wade in late June. What's clear is that abortion services came to a virtual halt in Arizona within days of that ruling. On Friday, Republican Attorney General Mark Brnovich will seek clarity. He's asking a judge to lift a Pima County injunction that has prevented the state's Civil War-era abortion ban from taking effect. That unenforced law carries a penalty of up to 5 years in prison for abortion providers. The only exception is to save a woman's life. Joining us now from Tucson is Pima County's top prosecutor, County Attorney Laura Conover. Welcome to Square Off.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
So all eyes are going to be on Tucson later this week. Give us an idea of what you know about what's happening there. Say a woman in Pima County is seeking an abortion right now. What are her options?
That's right. We've got a whole lot of context going on leading up to oral arguments on Friday. The Attorney General's motion is to seek to go back to the nearly full ban on abortions that was in place in the Civil War era, as you noted. Planned Parenthood of Arizona is on the other side of that, asking the judge to modify the injunction in recognition that a whole lot has occurred in the last 50 years since that 1973 injunction. My office found those arguments to be the more persuasive, and so we filed a joinder joining Planned Parenthood of Arizona, which was a reversal because in 1973 the office indeed was aligned at that time with the Attorney General's position to continue on prosecuting. So, Bram, what we're looking for here is, especially from my end as county attorney for Pima County, for Tucson, is clarity, right? It's notice. We've got providers here, physicians in all kinds of spaces, all different kinds of medical practices who need notice as to what precisely is allowable or not.
Mark Brnovich has said that the abortion ban is in effect statewide, but not in Pima County. Is that how you read it, the current state of the law?
I think that's going to be part of the clarity that will be sought Friday and potentially litigated, of course, from here on out. The question is that the injunction in 1973 in Tucson did appear to have statewide implications or took effect statewide, whether that was the intention or not. And so that's part of the clarity as well, is are we only talking about Pima County or are we talking about the whole state?
And why is this battle being fought in Pima County? Just clarify that for us.
Well, that's where the action happened in 1973. So then so-named Planned Parenthood of Tucson comes into court on behalf of 5 physicians at that time saying, look, we'd like an injunction. We would like these physicians to have protection against criminalizing abortion or prosecuting abortion because Roe versus Wade is making it through the courts, and indeed it might be lawful, it might be found to be lawful or protected activity in short order. So for now, let's have an injunction or a freeze against prosecutions. And that occurred in Pima County Superior Court in 1973. And then, of course, we know what happens with Roe versus Wade.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you a legal question here. Don't know how you're going to answer, but folks might think this would seem to be a slam dunk for Mark Brnovich. He has the U.S. Supreme Court on his side, and there is an existing law unenforced on the books.
Well, these are precisely the arguments that will take place in court on Friday, but the other side of that coin says that when you have some 5 competing laws on the books on the legislative side, there is a lot of case law that suggests we don't want a judge having to try to choose which law should take effect, that you should be harmonizing everything that the legislature has done in order to continue to allow the legislature to be those responsible for making the laws. And indeed, we have a contradictory 15-week ban that is just weeks old, as opposed to the law that the Attorney General's office is referencing from back in the 1800s.
Yeah,
So that's the legal conundrum before the court right now.
and there is that 15-week ban approved by the legislature, signed into law, that will take effect toward the end of September. And Governor Doug Ducey has said he thinks that's the law, but again, he's not a prosecutor. So if, as this plays out, abortion is ultimately banned in Arizona, would you enforce that law as a prosecutor?
My job here in Pima County, in my 18 months into office so far, has been crystal clear. We are in extraordinarily difficult times. Public health, COVID, a homicide spike, a domestic violence spike, all beginning locally, statewide, nationally, right at the heart of COVID. Everyone is on their last thread. And it has been incumbent upon me to be a calm voice of reassurance at all times that the last thing we need right now is yet again another heavy point of increased anxiety for a huge population in our community, both those of age who can bear a child and the physicians and supporters around them who need to provide health care. So I have been talking about prosecutorial discretion. I've been talking about limited resources, and I've been doing everything I can to reassure Southern Arizona that public health is public safety.
So is that you would use discretion in enforcing a ban? Is that what I'm hearing?
Every case that comes before a prosecutor has to have an individualized approach and an individualized look at specific facts and circumstances, and we will follow the law. But what I can assure Southern Arizona is that health will always come first, and that we are going to be focusing our limited resources exactly where Pima County wants us focusing, and that's on violent crime, victim crime.
All right. Pima County Attorney Laura Conover, thanks so much for joining us. All eyes on Tucson this coming week.
Thank you.